Well, I'm just being informed now that the CEO of Nigerian Stock Exchange is ready now to talk to us. Good afternoon, Mr. Onyema. Glad to have you on the program.
Good afternoon.
Right, you just finished your first media briefing outlining about 3 initiatives for the new year. What are these initiatives?
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Onyema. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Right. I said you've just finished your first media briefing for the year, and you outlined about 3 initiatives for the new year. What are these initiatives?
Oh, okay. So in addition to continuing to engage the government on policy issues, we intend to focus on demutualizing the exchange, establishing a derivatives market, and monetizing a market services suite for 2016.
Okay, you expect that these initiatives will actually mitigate the challenges expected this year. What are these challenges?
Well, these initiatives are actually just designed to continue to focus on executing our strategy. They are not necessarily designed to mitigate the current bearish that we're seeing. I think what we're doing with regards to that is to engage policymakers and to advocate for clarity in policy and also trying to position ourselves, continue to remain a credible platform for financing the economy.
Okay, you talked about the bearish market. We saw the market fall nearly 20% last year, and of course, starting the new year 2016 in negative territory. Are we going to see this trend continue, or is there likely to be a change?
Well, I think that the trend that you're seeing is driven by a number of occurrences, including commodity price shocks, slowdown in China, and reversal in monetary policy in the U.S., amongst other domestic or Nigeria-specific issues such as the security situation and adjustments as people begin to understand the new government policies after the slowdown around the the political circle. So we think that really the turnaround is probably going to be seen if we can see certain things, including relative stability in the macroeconomy, if we can have oil price stability above the benchmark targets, an increase in tax collection to GDP ratio, and things like that that can help government finances. And then credibility in the monetary policy stance, improvement in the total security situation in the country, and then more importantly, an effective implementation of the budget and the medium-term expenditure framework with appropriate communication coming from the government so that everybody is carried along.
Now, talking about the macroeconomy, we've seen the oil price fall 12 years low. Of course, we've seen the foreign exchange policy here in Nigeria and other issues. Do you see this coming to an end shortly?
What we're seeing in commodity price shocks, this is not the first time we're seeing it. As you know, markets move in circles, and so oil prices are also moving in circles. This is a down period. We expect that at some point when you have undersupply, you would see a turnaround. Now, as to when that turnaround point is, your guess is as good as mine. It's a difficult business trying to predict what oil prices will be. I think the important thing really is to better prepare ourselves for these shocks and to have appropriate fiscal buffers such that when you have downturns, you can continue to maintain your expenditure plans because you've saved for the rainy day.
better prepare ourselves? How do we do that?
I believe that right now we just have to find a way to survive this down cycle, and then when we go into an up cycle, do a better job saving for the rainy day. Having said that, the government has proposed an expansionary budget, if you will, a deficit that needs to be financed from borrowing. And what we're trying to do is to make sure that we're properly positioned as a credible platform to support the financing of the government's budget and MTEF.
All right. Now, the stock exchange also plans to complete the program of becoming a public liability company this year. When exactly are we looking at?
Well, we're working very hard on that. As you know, there's a regulatory framework now in place to support demutualization. We've appointed our financial advisors, legal and tax advisors, and the rest of our advisors, and there's a project team working on it. So really, it depends on how quickly we can execute and whether we need to make any additional changes to law or to regulation. Right now, we believe that if we do not need to go down that route, then we should be completing demutualization sometime this year.
Right. So where do we see the market moving to? 2 years.
Okay. So if you're asking us to predict where the index will end up in 2016, I would have to decline, as we're not in the business of predicting where the index would be. I think for us, the important thing is to really provide a marketplace that is efficient and that serves the investing public in the sense that they can have access to appropriate companies or bonds or other securities instruments. Having said that, we also believe that we need to be very reflective of the economy. And so the market is just reflecting the difficulties that we're experiencing in the economy. And again, this experience that we're having right now is prevalent in all commodities producing economies. So if you look at African markets, for example, all but one actually was negative for 2015 in US dollar terms. So this is really, you're seeing the effects of not just domestic issues, but also global issues.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Onyema. Well, that was Oscar Onyema, the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Now, learning how humankind can benefit from the fourth industrial revolution while addressing its challenges will be the central aim of the 46th World Economic Forum annual meeting this year. Briefing the press in preparation for the meeting, the founder and the chairman, World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, said this year's theme is the fourth industrial revolution.
The meeting, which is to be held from January the 20th to the 23rd in Davos Cluster, Switzerland, aims to build a platform for cooperation between public and private sectors. 3 key topics will be on the agenda: the global security situation, economic and social development, and the goal of sustainable development, and the fourth industrial revolution, which is the theme of this year's meeting.
We feel we are not yet prepared sufficiently for this fourth industrial revolution, which will come over us like a tsunami, which will change whole systems.
On the basis of this central theme, participants will discuss 10 global challenges including agriculture and food safety, economic growth and social inclusion, the future of the Internet, long-term investment and infrastructure construction.
The world has become interconnected. It's not very comfortable to think always in terms of those complexities. The world has a tendency to simplify issues, but we just want to fight this simplification which may lead to wrong conclusions and solutions. So our role in Davos, which is very different from What's else happening usually in the world is to take a systemic approach.
More than 2,500 participants from over 100 countries and regions will be present at the meeting, including more than 40 heads of state and senior government officials, as well as some 1,500 business leaders.
Why governments in Davos?
And back here in Africa, Egypt is set to host the 2016 African Investment Forum, the first international business and investment forum of its kind. The forum, scheduled to hold on the weekend of the 20th and 21st of February, is aimed at strengthening business ties with Africa, both at business and presidential levels. The forum will be opened by the President of Egypt, Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, and a number of African heads of state are also expected at the forum. Last June in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, 3 African regional economic communities, COMESA, SADC and the EAC signed a tripartite agreement creating the biggest free trade area on the continent. Now, the Africa 2016 Forum aims to reflect on the African opportunity as well as put into practice the African integration story.
Central Park Cafe is the coffee shop.
And staying in Egypt, a cafe in the Egyptian city of Port Ford is attracting fans of the popular 90s American sitcom Friends from across the country. The Port Ford Central Park Cafe was created by husband and wife Tim Omnia and Abdullah Hassan.
Central Park Cafe is the coffee shop where friends Monica, Rachel, Chandler, Ross, Joy, and Phoebe would meet in the TV series.
I'm a huge fan.
I always had the idea of setting up a private business. My wife Omnia told me if we were going to start a cafe, why not create Central Park? This was 3 years ago.
Hassan, a former banker, quit his job and with the help of his interior designer cousin, Haytham Egazi, spent 6 months reconstructing the cafe. Egypt's Central Park is a 3-hour drive away from Cairo, but according to Hassan, the long drive hasn't deterred people from making their way here.
I did not expect the people from Cairo, Alexandria, Mansoura, Tanta. It is overwhelming and it brings me joy to see fans from all over coming to see what we did. Their feedback was very positive and people were happy with the place and what we have to offer. This assured me that I took the right step.
The coffee shop is modeled on that in the hit TV show, and customers can enjoy a drink while watching Friends. When asked why it chose to open in the city other than Cairo or Alexandria, Hassan said it chose to trust Port Ford because it's where it grew up. One customer and fan, Hoda Al-Taranesi, said she expected a cafe of this kind to be open in the bustling cities of Cairo or Alexandria.
I was always used to finding places such as this cafe in centralized governorates, such as Cairo and Alexandria. I was happy to find this project in Port Ford. Now I feel like Port Said is on the map. I am happy that the children of Port Said are the ones who completed it. I decided to come because of it being Port Said, and I love the show.
It isn't only the customers who are Friends fans.
I started passing by outside the cafe before they started. I started sending them messages that I want to come and work here. They called me after the soft opening, and I told them, of course. I am addicted to the show, and I wanted to open a cafe like this one, but they were first to it.
Pop-up Central Park cafes have opened in Sydney and London, but so far this one is here to stay, much to the delight of customers. In just 1 month, the cafe's Facebook page has more than 13,000 likes, and due to the cafe's success so far, its owners are hoping to expand into Cairo and Alexandria. Friends first aired in 1994 and wrapped 10 years later. The series is still popular today. Some fans have hoped for a reunion, something cast and crew have said is unlikely to happen.
And that's it on the program. Thank you for watching. I'm Chimezi Obiwago. Have a good afternoon.